Let's just jump right into it. The black man is weak, 101. Now, I often get pushback when I say that the black man is weak, but I never get asked why I say the black man is weak. And I understand because no one really wants to hear the answer because the lies entertain, but the truth convicts. And the black man is weak simply because he has an excuse. The black man can say, I cannot achieve in life because someone or something is holding me back. The black man has an excuse and he has someone or something to blame. This makes him weak. Now, you will hear black men talk all day. They speak all the time. Black men will tell you how the white man is oppressing them. They will tell you how the world is against them. They will tell you about systemic racism. They will tell you about oppression. They will tell you about how they are victims. They will tell you how this whole world is set up for them to fail. But you know what you'll never hear a black man say? You'll never hear him say, I don't believe in excuses. You'll never hear him say, I'm going to move the mountain. You never hear him say, no matter what, I'm going to trust in the Lord. You're never going to hear him say, as for me and my house, we are going to serve the Lord. You're not going to hear it because black men don't talk like that. Black men already have a single mother's spirit. They're already feminine. So to have a solution, i.e., to have faith be their solution, it's not going to happen. But if a man is not convicted by faith, then he's going to be weak. If a man is not trusting in God, if a man is not following in the footsteps of Christ, he is going to be weak. If we are made in God's image, think about this. If we are made in God's image and we're on this earth doing things that are opposite of God's image, then that means we're going to be weak because we're going against our intended design. Our intended design is to be like God. This is why we're supposed to follow the physical manifestation of God, which is Jesus Christ. That is our example. And nowhere in the Bible did Jesus ever make an excuse. Nowhere in the Bible did Jesus say he couldn't do something. Nowhere in the Bible did Jesus blame anyone. So that is your example of what a man is. But the black man has been told that he's the most masculine man. He's the strongest man. He's a king. He's a god. He's been given all these great titles. But when you hear him speak, does he sound like a god? When you hear the black man speak, does he sound like a king? Does a man that's always complaining and crying and begging and blaming, does that man really sound like someone that you should respect? Most of the problems in the black community come from the black woman's lack of respect for the black man. I don't care what she says. It goes against her nature. It goes against her very existence to be with a man who's excuse-minded. So subconsciously, she is repulsed by the black man. She does not respect the black man, and that causes most of the problems in the black community. And she doesn't even know it most of the time. And this is why I say the black man is weak, because he has an excuse. And any man with an excuse is not fit to lead. And if a man cannot lead, then what use is he? He's going to be in the way. He's going to be a stumbling block. In fact, when you see men out here in society that aren't leaders, when you see men out here in society that are excuse-minded, when you see men out here in society that blame everybody but themselves, when you see men out here in society that aren't putting their trust in Jesus, they are spreading death, destruction, and damnation. They are causing all kinds of havoc on society. Look what a weak man does to society. Look what he does to the world. And as time moves on, you're going to see, mark my words, how detrimental it's going to be for men to not be men, how detrimental it's going to be for men to make excuses, how detrimental it's going to be for men to not live by faith. Again, the black man is weak because he has an excuse. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, let me start over. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have faith, and though I have all faith, so that I can remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not charity, it profit me nothing. It profiteth me nothing. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. Excuse me. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even also as I am known. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three, but the greatest of these is charity. Now we can swap out charity for the word love. And now abideth faith, hope, love, these three, but the greatest of these is love. So you notice how Paul talks about maturity and being a man that can walk in love. Notice how everything Paul's talking about in that chapter, he sums it all up. Even his relationship with God, even the understanding of God is all tied in his maturity. But what is maturing Paul? What's maturing Paul is love, because love gives you the understanding. When we go through that chapter, Paul talks about gifts, Paul talks about accomplishments, Paul talks about abilities, but he says without love, none of this means anything, because love gives you the understanding, because love gets you to see it how God sees it. So Paul is talking about, as a child, I did these things, But now as a man, I put away childish things. You see, dear black men, you all's problem is you don't want to grow up, because growing up and becoming a man means you have to be accountable, and that means you have to be responsible. And that's what you're running from. So it's easy to hide behind narratives and propaganda and programming about how you are oppressed and somehow under the boot of white supremacy. But I cut past all of that and I just go to the truth. And the truth of the matter is, you're weak. You're a coward. Now, there's a way for you to become strong, and that is by you putting your faith and trust in Christ. That's how you're going to become strong. The problem is that you all have taken the world's version of what strength is, and that's not strength. Strength comes from God, not your own ambitions, not your own will. Strength comes from God, because not doing it God's way is going to be doing it the wrong way, no matter what you're doing. So, dear black man, if you don't want to be weak, you need to follow Christ, because that is the example. That is the living example of God. Think about how merciful, honorable, and loving God is. For God to come down here in physical form and be an example for us, but not just be an example, but give us salvation so that we can have everlasting life. Imagine God sacrificing himself for the greater good of the world. Now think about yourself in those terms. Imagine a man that does the opposite. Imagine a man that doesn't sacrifice himself for the greater good of his family, for the greater good of his wife, for the greater good of his children, for the greater good of his community, for the greater good of his country, for the greater good of this world. What is the opposite of doing it God's way? The opposite is Satan wins. So, dear black men, your disobedience, your cowardice, your excuse making, the blame game that you all love to play, that is an antichrist spirit. And that same victim spirit is what the antichrist is going to feed off of, because everybody's going to feel like a victim. And when people feel like victims, you know what they don't do? They don't go to God. You know who they go to? They go to the person pitching the best offer, i.e., Satan. So the black man is weak because he has an excuse. The black man is weak because he's been told he has someone to blame. And the black man's existence threatens the very existence of what a real man is, because the black man offers an alternative that has been accepted. I reject the alternative. A man is supposed to put away childish things. A man is supposed to walk in love. A man is supposed to embody these fruits of the Spirit. Galatians 5:22-23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. So, dear black man, if you don't want to be weak, you don't have to. Walk by faith and not by sight. Put your trust in Christ, and I guarantee you will be able to slay Goliath.